This is Bill Hartzer, and this is the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer, April 21st, 2022, Thursday, April 21st, 2022. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. We're also live on Facebook Live. And also this is recorded, and you'll probably find this podcast or found it on several of the places like Spreaker, and on the video is live, goes on YouTube, as well as you can find us on iHeartRadio and Apple podcasts, as well as Amazon podcast, as well as and so anyway, so we are live every Thursday afternoon, or I am live every Thursday afternoon, 1:30 Mountain Time. And this is the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer. So what a couple things going on this week. So in digital marketing news, we have basically a fairly large Google search ranking update on April 20th and 21st. As you can imagine, Google did announce that they did last year about 5,000 updates. This is one of the larger. It's not a core update. It is one of the larger updates, and I do have some SEO clients I've been watching and working with for years. And one particular client that I've been working with is a local client. They have a local business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so I've been helping them for over 10 years now. So their rankings went up 6 to 7%, which actually is a big jump for them. And around the 19th, they had so around March, in the middle of March, they had a big jump, and then they did well for a little while. That also then basically on the 20th, April 20th, yesterday, they had another big jump on the ranking. So which is good to see, because some of the rankings, for certain keywords, they were 16th. 16th, they were, which is on the second page, which basically means that you won't get any clicks. You won't really get any clicks to your website if you're on the second page for the majority of keywords. So regardless, now they're 5th. So that's a pretty big jump, going from 16th to 5th position. So it is spring, and spring allergies are in full effect right now. So that's why I have a little some allergies going on. So anyway, so it happened. So Google Analytics. So Google Analytics, worth mentioning that you do need to probably upgrade and so to this universal analytics. However, keep in mind that you can actually run both codes. You can run the old code and have access to Google Analytics, the version that the merged version that you are used to using for past years. But you can also have the new code on there on your pages, because that'll start gathering data. So you can actually run both. Beware, there's actually some Google Business Profile messaging scams. So sometimes, people can message your business through the app, and so you may get some messages, and there are actually some scam messages going on, asking you for certain information and so forth. And so I would be aware of that. So scams with Google My Business and Google Business Profile have been going on for years. And and I have actually had friends who have local business, even reached out to me last week. Hey, they said, hey, Bill, we got a message about some kind of I need to verify or do something like that with my Google listing. I didn't have a Google listing, and I know I had one. Anyway, it is a common scam. Also interesting. So there was an interesting snafu or horrible mistake by CNN this past week. So CNN actually a political news story that is about politics. There is an individual named Neil Patel who is running for political office out of the state of Ohio. Well, the news producer, which is normally the person behind the scenes, they went to Google and they needed a photo of Neil Patel, who was running for office. Well, when they did a search for Neil Patel is an SEO guy or digital marketing person and has been in the industry. And in fact, he has his his knowledge graph listing show up with his photos. Well, the CNN producer did not do any other additional research, and they assumed that the Neil Patel, who's digital marketing and SEO, is the one running for Senate in Ohio. So they used digital marketing, Neil Patel's photos, put it on the air, and so forth, all over, and had it on the air and did a news story that had that particular photo, which is the wrong Neil Patel. So just because to show you that for your own personal reputation management, your own personal online reputation, it is important for you to see if you can get that knowledge graph for your name. I've talked about over and over again in other other podcast episodes here that getting your knowledge graph is important, and that's why I have one for myself that I've been working on for 15 years. And while in this case, Neil Patel, the digital marketer, got his photo on CNN because somebody made a mistake at CNN. Anyway, that's worth mentioning. That came up this past week. It was a very interesting case. So anyway, so moving on, we want to talk about a strange situation that is still ongoing. Because it's not a podcast, because it is going to be recorded and is out there, I'm not going to name the registrar, but basically if you are looking for a deal with a domain name, a cheap price to register a domain name, or you are you love the commercials, TV commercials of certain domain name registrars, then you may have probably heard about this domain name registrar. Since this is a situation where it is involving this one domain registrar, that I'm not going to get into details until the situation is completely resolved, but it is actually a very important situation to understand. So, and what I say is, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you really need to pay attention to where you have your domain names registered, because there are certain registrars that do a good job if there's a problem with your domain name or domain name. And there are other registrars who really do not care whatsoever about you when there is a problem. And so let's go into this. Let's jump into this. I was brought into this because of the fact of my background and because of my ability to recover stolen domain names, and that is a service that we provide through my company that I am involved with, that I have found, which is called dmprotect.com, where I protect domain names and we recover stolen domain names. So here's a company that is about to launch a product, a new service, and they register this domain name at this registrar A, and I'll just call it registrar 1 or registrar A. Let's start registrar 1. So they register the domain name, and it's a popular registrar. And so no big deal, they register the domain name. Well, they get working on the website, they put the website up, they're getting to do some more marketing, and they realize that they can't make changes to that domain name. The website's live, but they can't make changes. Well, the problem is they don't own the domain name anymore. And so a hacker got access to their to one of their email accounts associated with the domain name. And at that point, since they had access to the email account, they then gained access to the domain name account or the registrar account at Registrar One. So they basically the hacker went in and they transferred the domain name to themselves, and they transferred it to Registrar 2, completely different registrar. In this particular case, this hacker went in and they literally deleted the account at the domain name Registrar 1. This is a problem because what happened was when they hired me and my team to go in and recover the domain name, the client realized that this Registrar 1 was telling them over and over again, well, we don't know, we have no record of you even doing business with us. You don't have an account here anymore. Well, gee, the hacker went in and deleted the account, okay, and made it extremely difficult. And so there's no account anymore. So therefore, the domain name registrar, who is Registrar 1, they basically said to them, well, we don't know who you are, and we don't have any record of you doing business with us. Well, that's a problem because they have an account number and they have everything, and they had an account the day before, 2 days before, and now it's gone. So it literally took over a week for dealing with the registrar back and forth, literally probably close to 100 emails and forms filled out, calls made to the registrar to prove that they were at one point a customer, because they luckily were they did have a copy of the receipt that they had at one time. So they showed that. Finally, the registrar said, okay, well, we'll allow you to open up a new account. So at this point, we're still dealing with back and forth. In the meantime, the hackers created a copy of the website. They put it up on a different web host. And not only that, they put up some nasty messages. Some messages basically that said specifically to them that said that this company is a scam. They're scammers. Don't do any business with them. And the owners of the company have been arrested. And don't stay away from this company because it's bad. So I was able to get that website taken down. Okay, but a day later, the hacker copied the website again and put it up on a different web host, and this new web host will not take the website down. So we still have to deal with the domain name. In the meantime, we finally, at this point, 3 weeks in, we'll finally be able to get Registrar 1 to try and talk to Registrar 2, who won't respond to Registrar 1. And anyway, so they finally, I think, responded 2 days ago. This is the 4th week. Over the 4th week that this happened, someone went in and hacked into the account and deleted the account and stole their domain name, literally. And everything on the website, and put the website up with nasty messages. So again, because this hacker went in and deleted the account, it turns out that the domain name registrar one, they, that's a problem. If account is deleted, they actually don't have any record. You've never done business with them. I mean, that's concerning. That even though account is closed, they should still have that domain, that domain name register, that domain name history, even though you've closed the account. Anybody calling that company, the registrar one, that customer service person should be able to see all the history. And if the account is deleted, they should still be able to see that the account is history. That's a problem. It took basically 3 weeks because of that problem. That's insane. Normally, if a domain name is stolen, if you contact my organization, DM Protect, we're able to get that domain name back to you normally within 24 hours. That's usual. If there are extenuating circumstances like this, where a domain name registrar has such a horrible system set up that that even occurs. This even occurs. This is the 4th weekend. Now we're dealing with the 2 registrars talking to each other, registrar 1, registrar 2, to try and figure out how they're going, that they're, who's going to find, who's going to, to get both of them basically to sign the turf agreement, which is a transfer agreement between both registrars legally, so that, if the domain name is transferred back to another registrar, that basically says that legally we're not liable for anything that happens. And that's fine. Okay. That's the last step. But again, that even takes time with this particular registrar. If you say your domain name is stolen from this registrar, you know what? I'm now going to have to tell you, it's going to take a month for you to get your domain name back. And the domain name registrar may not even care at all about you as a customer. And it's going to be extremely difficult because your account was hacked with this registrar. This is this is ongoing with this registrar. And unfortunately, like I said, it is problem after problem after problem when these things happen. And it happens very frequently, because we are now on I have personally reviewed over 400 cases of stolen domain names. That's crazy. That I've had to go through these numbers. And if you are at a certain registrar that does a lot of TV commercials and so forth, and your domain name is stolen from that registrar, it will take probably a month or more till you get your domain name back. And if that's your primary business, if you're doing business literally on that domain name, your business is dead. I mean, you can't get email. You can't, I mean, it is your website. You can't get, if a hacker puts up a malicious website on your company's name, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and that's just one domain name registrar. There are other registrars within, they can respond or will respond within an hour, and to get something down, and the damage, can be taken care of and minimized. But my gosh, I mean, this is crazy. 4 weeks to get because a domain name registrar, your account was deleted and by a hacker, and the fact that, your customer service people don't even know that you exist anymore, that you've never done business with them, and you have to prove that. That's crazy. So, sorry. Allergies this week. So anyway, that said, this has been the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer for Thursday, April 21st, 2022. Like I said, every week, 1:30 Mountain Time, I am live here on Facebook, and we do record every video, and the podcast actually goes up major podcast places as well. So that said, this has been the Digital Marketing with Bill Hartzer podcast for Thursday, April 21st, 2022. I will see you online.